All right, what up? New episode of Me Duole podcast. Stuart Anderson here, joined today on this episode by Eric Ellis, the creator of Formula 369, and also Spencer Chipping joins us on this episode. We took some time to talk to Eric all about this product. He is the creator of it through his job where he creates food items, nutraceuticals. I don't even know what to call what he does. He's a chemist, he's a scientist, but through his job, he decided that it was worthwhile to create a product, a drink mix product for cycling that he could be proud of, that he wanted to use, that had the ingredients that he wanted, that had the ingredients that he felt were necessary. He talks about pixie dust, stuff that other products use to kind of boost the price and to the flashiness of the products. And Eric describes Formula 369 as a drink mix that doesn't have any of that. Just the things that he believes are most important to endurance and riding on your bike and restoring the things that you use as you cycle. So very fun to talk to Eric. He's super smart. We're grateful for the time he spent with us. He's an incredible cyclist. I don't know if you guys saw, but him and Corby and Josh essentially rode 100 miles, sub 4 hours. What we tried to do on Zwift, they did it in real life. So last Saturday, they went out and they accomplished a sub 4 century together. It's pretty fun to see. He's an incredible cyclist, great athlete, and great part of our team. He joined us at Team Camp down in St. George, and he's been a fun addition to everything we do. So Formula 369, I've used it all season. I know Chip has used it all season, and it's available on Corby's website, cyclingupgrades.com. That's where you buy it, and it's an awesome product. So enjoy the podcast, enjoy learning from Eric, and hopefully you try the product out. It's awesome. All right, bye. All right, what's up? Welcome, everybody. Episode 61. If you're watching the video, you'll see Eric Ellis. But it says Lily there, Eric. Is that your daughter's Zoom account? What's going on?
Yep, it sure is.
All good. And then Chip is here. What's up, Chip?
Hey,
we've had a busy week or two. Me and Chip and Taylor recorded a little bit on our experience at Leadville that we'll share. Hopefully that was something everybody wants to hear about. What do you think, Chip? Yay, just say yay or nay.
Yay.
Yay. I also give it a yay. Very good. Very exciting. We first met Eric. Man, Eric, Corby brought you on. This is beginning to be a trend on Zwift. And you immediately just assimilated in there and began taking names, just crushing us. So fun to ride with you. As dumb as that sounds, we weren't really riding together, but we really were. Like very fun winter riding together. And Eric had an interesting story. He came in and told us that, you'd had a couple crashes and that Zwift was a really kind of fun rebirth into being motivated and riding hard and connecting with the team. And then from there, we found out you ran this incredible drink mix company, which is what we're going to talk about today. I don't know what else to say about that, but you're like created this formula that we gave away at camp. I bought some from Corby, and then, dude, it's the only thing I've used all summer, and I freaking love the taste. I love the way it works, and we wanted to dive into a little bit about how you created it, how it works, and then Chip even has deeper knowledge. You guys talked about how it works with type 1. So very cool. So Eric is a CAP 1-2 road racer, mountain biker, runner, a degree in exercise science and nutrition, worked for years as a nationally certified personal trainer and 7 years experience as a cycle coach. He's shown his ability to coach himself by winning the Utah State 50K Trail Running Championship in 2016 and the Utah State Road Race Championship in 2019. Where was that race? Was that Antelope Island? Where was
Antelope Island, yep.
Antelope Island. Very good. Eric's worked for 10 years in the nutraceutical industry in R&D and formulation, and has formulated numerous nutritional products that are sold across the globe. Formula 369 started as a drink mix Eric made for himself because he was tired of paying the high price for drink mix. I love that. And he knew he could make it better and cheaper. Eric is quoted as saying, sport drinks are overcomplicated. They have all these hype ingredients added to help market them and set them apart in a crowded market. But the truth is, they do nothing to increase performance. All they do is increase the price of the product. That's so dope. Chip, I know you've been using it too.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Eric, what did I miss? Anything else you want to say about your intro?
No, that's pretty good. Yeah. As far as Zwifting with you guys, that was a lot of fun. Great way to spend the winter, get motivated again. Like you said, I come back from a bad crash in the Tour of St. George in 2019, where I broke my neck, broke both shoulders, some ribs.
Dang, dude.
So I was having a tough time kind of getting motivated to get back. So yeah, I appreciate you guys accepting me so wholeheartedly and allowing me to join you.
We even had you at camp, right? You came to St. George?
I did, yeah.
So
even though we missed some key events, but
that's right. You guys missed the time for the raffle or something.
The raffle.
Yeah. That was pretty good. Maybe let's talk about Eric, just whatever I missed from your early background, your life, how you got into sports. Do you want to start there?
Sure. So I grew up in Washington State, kind of out countryside. I know both my parents grew up on farms, so I kind of like being out away from the city. I guess at a fairly early age, probably when I was a freshman in high school, I really started to gain a interest in health and even nutrition. I guess when I was younger, my first love was basketball. Mm-hmm. And then kind of starting in junior high, I transferred to golf, and I was just totally addicted with golf. Played pretty much every day, played on the high school team.
Nice.
Took weights class in high school. That kind of got me involved in, getting more physically active and building up strength and things like that. And then I was just interested in how I can improve my results. And so that kind of led me into nutrition. So I learned as much as I could about nutrition just through reading and reading different things and learning how I could maximize my nutrition to maximize my results, in the gym or whatever I was doing. So then I went to college here in Utah. I attended UVU. That's where I studied exercise science. And that was actually really good for me. I didn't start biking until I came out here. So I was probably 22 years old before I got my first mountain bike, actually. I had a friend that asked me to go with them, and I kind of got into it, and I thought it would be something that I would enjoy. So I got my first mountain bike and started going on a few rides with him. And that's really where it all started. I just kind of found that I enjoyed pushing myself. I actually liked going uphill, which most people didn't. And so soon after I started, I was like, hey, well, maybe I'll try a race. And so again, I got another friend who also wanted to try his first race. So, we did our first iCup race. I think it was the one down in St. George. And that's how my racing career got started.
What year was that?
Ooh, boy. That's probably like 2007, 2008, probably.
Oh, okay. Nice. Cool. Dang. So you've been at this a while.
A little bit. Yeah. I raced mountain bikes. I got to expert level. I was keeping up with most of the pros, but I never raced with pros. And then ended up getting a road bike just to train for mountain biking. And then after riding the road bike, I kind of found that just kind of suited my skill level a little bit better. I picked up mountain biking so late that I could go up the hills really fast, but I could not go down very fast. That was always my issue. So the road bike suited me pretty well. And then I was also going to UVU, and we had a really good at the time cycling club, actually. My physiology professor was our advisor for the cycling club, and that made it really fun. We were able to do some different, he coached us, and then he also, we did different kind of experiments, protocols. We got to test our VO2 and
nice
body fat, metabolic parameters, all that all the time. So it was fun.
Very cool. And then, so where along the lines were, you kind of mentioned it, but all of a sudden what year was it where you're like, this is it. I'm fed up with drink mix, the trash that's in it. Like, I know better than what this is doing. Like, when was that?
Ooh, well, it's kind of a long story.
Yes, we're in for it. Let's go. Long story.
Well, you guys don't even know this, but this is actually my second product that I've created.
Let's hear it all. I want to hear all the story.
So the first one I created was called Holdration, and the whole concept behind that was it was really the first sports drink to be certified organic and certified non-GMO. And I got all the electrolytes from natural sources. So like, I had sodium, obviously, from, rock salt or whatever, but then I used like coconut sugar, coconut water for potassium and other electrolytes. But really the whole concept of that one was the organic and non-GMO. That was, you probably remember when non-GMO just kind of went crazy and everyone was talking about it and all the products had the label on it. It's not quite as big now, but so that was the first one, and that was doing well. It was on Amazon, backcountry.com was selling it. Some of the local health food stores were selling it. But anyway, I learned a lot through that process. I eventually just stopped selling it. Things got a little bit busy and kind of found that I wasn't the best at marketing and sales. I prefer to come up with the ideas and formulate than sell. But anyway, I learned a lot through that. And then when I decided to do Formula 369, I kind of took what I learned from that and really helped that to make this, I guess, it's a start of what I think will be successful.
Nice. Chip, any questions about Eric's background or anything?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you follow it's hard to develop your exactly what is right, and so but you have such a passion for it that you went round two. And I would be interested to hear how from a sales side and just those users out there that compared to what you did with your first product to now, how many are using it from then to now? What do you think the main differences are?
Well, the main differences were my first one was more of a hydration only product. Lower carbohydrate. It's more focused on hydration rather than fueling. Mm-hmm. It had two different formulas. That was the other thing that kind of set it apart. I had a blue and a red. One was lower sodium, lower electrolytes, and the other one was higher sodium. So the idea was that you don't always need this super high amount of sodium. If you're in cooler temperatures or maybe you're just going for a shorter ride, you could use the formula with lower sodium, and then if you're in super hot temperatures or you're just a heavy salt sweater, you could use the higher one. So But yeah, that was the main difference. That one was focused on hydration. And you know how science is. You learn new things all the time. And, we could probably get into this more, but, the real, I'd say the thing we've learned about sports nutrition the most in, the last 10 years or so is that we were not consuming enough calories before. 30 grams an hour used to be kind of the norm. And then, we got more educated, and then 60 was kind of the number. Now 90 is the number.
Yeah.
Now they're actually starting to research 120 grams an hour.
Dang.
We could, we can cover that more later as well. But we're constantly learning, and so as I've learned more, I've found that these higher carbohydrate products, like Formula 369, where I can get everything in one drink, has really helped me. And I think the people that are using it are realizing that too, and that's a huge part of my message and why I believe in it so much is you just got to get the calories in to perform at your best.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think stating the obvious for the listeners, like Eric said, there is nothing harder than eating during endurance racing, running, riding. My conversation with Eric last week was regarding that. My stomach just can't handle 120 carbs an hour eating them. Who can eat 120 carbs? And it's impossible. It's even impossible. Nothing's impossible, but it's even very difficult to drink it when it is a flavor that just starts to get nasty after a while.
Yeah, big time. You said that the other stuff is overcomplicated and they have a lot of hype. Can you talk? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but can you talk about that, like that phrase?
Yeah.
Or so maybe we do want to throw people under the bus. I don't care. Throw them.
I don't want to focus on other products. Because the honest truth is there's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of things that could get you the same results, honestly. But I can get you the same or better results at half the cost. And so if I can do that for people, then that's kind of my goal. Nice. But as far as other products, like I said, I've been working in the nutraceutical industry for over about 11 years now. So, it just means the company I work for, we make vitamins, mineral supplements, herbal supplements. I've done a lot of work with protein shakes, meal replacements. So I've kind of seen it all over the years. There's a phrase in the industry called pixie dusting. That's kind of what we refer it to.
Okay.
And it's basically saying, you take a product and you sprinkle a little bit of magic powder on it, and then you hype it up in your marketing and everything to get people to buy it. When the truth is, there's not enough of that ingredient in there to actually do anything. And that happens all the time in the industry. I'm not saying the company I work for does that, but it's just very, very rampant in the nutrition industry. So, if you believe in a certain ingredient, say it's beta alanine or citrulline or leucine or amino acids, whatever it is, you want to do your research on those because they all have a minimum dose of efficacy. If you don't reach that dose, they're not going to do anything. The other thing is, a lot of people think that they're going to get all these performance gains from these other ingredients. When I say other ingredients, think about, the list of things that are in like a pre-workout or something. And the honest truth is, you know, if there was a supplement out there that really gave us these gains on the bike or running, or boosted your VO2 max or boosted your strength, I think we all would know about it. And it wouldn't be a secret. Everyone would know about it. And really, there just isn't anything out there that's really going to boost your performance to a level that would be detectable. I'd say the only thing that would be an exception to that would be caffeine. And caffeine, you know, it's a very personal choice too. For me, myself, I don't use it every day. I don't use it in training even. Most races, I don't even use it, honestly. Some longer races, I used to use it. But that is the one thing that has been shown that will give you some performance enhancement if you use it correctly. So a few things I want to share real quick about my product. So I think about Formula 369 as kind of like the F1 race car. Okay, you basically got an engine, you got a frame, you got wheels, and nothing else.
Okay.
It's made for speed, right? It's not worried about comfort, fuel economy, nothing else. Whereas, you know, you got a Cadillac that has all these extra features, you know, the cooled seats, navigation, I don't know, all these bells and whistles. But are those things helping you get from A to B any faster? No. Actually, they'd just be slowing you down because it's added weight. So that's kind of how I think about Formula 369. Anything that is not contributing to performance. And when I say anything, I say anything. There's nothing in there that's not serving a purpose.
Not even flavor.
Not even flavor. All flavor does is increase the cost. And, you know, like I said, through formulating experience, usually flavor is the majority of the cost of any product.
Huh, really?
Yeah. Any drink mix, you know, if you look at, I know a lot of people are doing, what's that? Liquid IV or something. I've never even had one, but if those are flavored, you know, the ingredients, the main ingredients would cost like maybe a penny, and the flavoring would cost like 10 cents. I mean,
dang.
That's how it is. So the flavor, I didn't flavor my product for a few reasons. One, for cost. Two, it's not adding any performance. And three, there's something called flavor fatigue. And that's, you know, like you guys have already talked about. After drinking the same thing, getting that same taste, that same flavor over and over, you start to get sick of it. You get flavor fatigue, and you get to the point where you can't stomach it anymore. You know, the other thing, it might taste great when it's cold, but when it gets hot out there in the 90-degree sun, it's not. Chances are it doesn't taste good anymore. So Formula 369, it's not flavored. So depending on how rich you mix it, whether you use 1, 2, or 3 scoops, so that's 30, 60, or 90 grams of carbohydrates. That's where the 369 comes from. Nice. It's just slightly sweet. And then if you use 3 scoops up to 90 grams of carbohydrates, it's pretty sweet, but it just kind of tastes like sweetened water. I mean,
I love the flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. And it actually goes down very, very easily. And, you know, like I said, most people that use it find they can tolerate the flavor very well in all conditions.
Yeah.
One major thing that we should not skip over is every one of us has been on a bike with a warm water bottle. Everybody. And every one of us have been on a bike with a warm water bottle that is like warm cherry flavor, warm peach, warm lemon lime, warm watermelon. warm blue crush. And even as I'm saying that, it's making you a little bit nauseous. When you, training for Leadville, I was riding in the hot times of the day. I mean, 100 easily. You guys know how warm it was this summer. It was 100 degrees. I was starting at 1 p.m. and my bottles were warm, and I could stomach this fine.
Same.
It's fine. And it's even better than warm water because it tastes, it, like Stu said, it just has that hint of sweet to it.
Yeah.
Right.
So what is in it, Eric? Because you say here there's only 3 ingredients. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What are the 3 things that matter?
So the 3 ingredients are maltodextrin, fructose, and salt. So first, maltodextrin is basically a long chain of glucose units. So when you hear maltodextrin, it's basically just glucose. So glucose, I think we've all heard of blood glucose, but it's the simplest form of sugar, and our body kind of breaks everything, all carbohydrate sources down into glucose eventually. And then there's fructose. Fructose, it's another form of sugar. Obviously, it's found in fruits and other things, but so that's the second source of carbohydrate or fuel. And then the salt. And then it's not just any salt either. I use Redmond real salt. That's a local Utah company. So not only are you getting the sodium from that, but you're also getting trace amounts of all the other electrolytes. Plus it has it's unrefined rock salt. So it has 72 trace minerals in it. So
Cool.
There's a lot of other benefits just besides the sodium. So when you're exercising, the latest science has shown that having a glucose and fructose mixture in your bottle is important. And that's because glucose and fructose are metabolized through different pathways in your body. So they've also found that glucose you can only ingest about 60 grams of glucose per hour. And that's because there's transporters in your gut that have to take that glucose, transport it into the bloodstream where it can be used. And at about 60 grams per hour of glucose, those transporters are basically saturated. They're all taken up. So it's like there's no more little taxis that can take that glucose in. So that's where the fructose comes in. Fructose is digested through a different pathway. It goes through the liver, actually. And so fructose can be absorbed at the same time glucose can, even if all of those glucose transporters are maxed out. So, the research has clearly shown that if you pair glucose and fructose together, you can ingest a higher amount of carbohydrate per hour than you would with just straight glucose. They've also found that your performance increases if you combine the two versus glucose alone. And they've also found that if you are doing high amounts of carbohydrate, I think 90 grams or more, if you have a combination of both, it's also more well tolerated by the gut. So less gut rot, less GI issues. So it's important to have those. And the ratio is important as well. A lot of products on the market now use a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 glucose units for every 1 fructose.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if it's 2-to-1 and you have 90 grams, then that's 60 grams of glucose and 30 grams of fructose, right? 2-to-1. So if you're taking 90 grams in per hour, you're maxing out your glucose intake. So I use a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 glucose, 1 fructose. So that means at 90 grams, you're getting 45 of each.
Nice.
So your glucose isn't tapped out yet. So you can go even higher than 90 grams. When I was talking to Chip, I just listened to Keegan Swenson talk about his remarkable performance at Leadville, and then what was the gravel race? The Steamboat. Yeah. Back-to-back days. He said he was ingesting 120 grams of carbohydrates per hour during those races. And he's probably like 145 pounds or so.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of food.
A
lot of calories. But when you're working at that type of intensity, your body's burning it like crazy. So you got to have
it. Eric, what would you say to somebody who's like, I mean, I don't want you to have to argue, but you're like, no, there's no better product than Scratch. Like, there's no better whatever. Like, that's my thing. Are you going to argue with that person? Are you going to be like, hey, you're wasting money and time? Or are you just like, no, that might work for you? Or, I mean, what's your attitude towards that?
Yeah, my attitude, fact of like I said, just a little bit earlier, there's lots of things that will work for you. There's other similar products on the market that'll give you 90 grams of carbohydrates an hour. But it's like they all have little things that maybe aren't maximized or could be improved, or that you may not prefer. Like flavor is one of them. The other thing, there's another popular drink that has 90 grams of carbs that has an ingredient in it that when it gets into your stomach and hits the stomach acid, it's supposed to form a gel in there. And through my work, the first company I worked for, we did a lot of high viscosity drink products. And they're actually designed to kind of block the absorption of different things like cholesterol and fat. And it actually really slows down the absorption of carbohydrates as well, just because it's kind of like a fiber matrix, and anything that gels up like that, it's coming from a gum, which is basically a fiber, and it actually slows down absorption. So that product.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that ball of gum can like sit in your gut, and that is what. So, and then when the lack of absorption is taking place due to that, is when you get dehydrated. It's when you get sick, because this gum ball is just sitting in your gut.
Yeah, it could very well. Yeah, that never made sense to me why they did that, because like I said, using those gums and fibers just slows down absorption. And then shortly after, of course, someone did a study where they put their product against another product that didn't have those gums, and they found that there was no difference. So, just little things like that. So the other thing I think is important to mention is I like to differentiate between a sports drink, something that's fueling your performance, and then a supplement. Your sports drink doesn't need to be a supplement. I want to emphasize that to everyone. You don't need to supplement while you're exercising.
While you're riding, yeah.
If you want to supplement potassium, calcium, magnesium, do that throughout the day. Get it through your diet. If you want to take more, get a multivitamin. If you want to take, citrulline or beta-alanine or beet juice, whatever you think is going to help you, those things don't need to be taken during exercise. They basically you take them and they build up in your body over time, over weeks. And so you have to take them regularly to get into your body and actually store it up into a high enough amount where your body can actually use it. There's no reason to take those things during exercise or even right before. So there's no point in putting them in the sports drink. Again, that's where it comes down to marketing. Sports drinks are not complicated. It's basically sugar, water, electrolytes. Gatorade has been around for how many years? And how many scientists did they have working on Gatorade? I'm sure a lot, and it's still the same formula. It's water, it's sugar, and electrolytes. Of course, Gatorade has to have a bunch of colors and preservatives and different things too to make it shelf stable, but it's the same thing. So Formula 369, again, it's only what's going to benefit you, and that's carbohydrates, because you need energy, and sodium is the main thing that you lose through sweat during exercise.
Yeah.
All the other electrolytes you don't need to worry about. Really, that's it. Like I said, the only thing, if you want to add caffeine to it, you definitely can. If I were to make any type of variant of my product, I'd probably add caffeine. The only downside to that is caffeine is extremely bitter. So without a huge amount of flavoring in there, it would impact the taste. But we'll have to see. I might experiment with that down the road. But like I said, it makes a great base to mix anything in. So a lot of people, they'll take whatever they want, a pre-workout or some type of powdered caffeine drink, and you can easily add it to it to get your caffeine in there, and it just tastes great.
Yeah, I do that.
Chip, any other questions about the formula?
I would just echo what Eric just wrapped up saying, is that if you're like, but what about my caffeine? Like I do, I've experimented with a small scoop of Bucked Up, with C4, with whatever, tiny little scoop of whatever your flavor is, since his flavor is plain, or let's call it delicious, semi-sweet sugar. It just goes easy on with it. So you can do that if you want the added caffeine. So.
Nice. Very cool. Eric, as we kind of move into the last section, I know you got a lot of experience, and I thought it would be fun to hear from you about whether it's nutritional mistakes or whatever, but what advice would you if you were going to share with the team or whatever, what have you learned over the years that's helped you the most progress and be successful, whether it's training or mindset or whatever, nutrition, anything that you'd share that might be useful?
That's a hard that's a hard question for me to answer. One thing I've learned through the years, like I said, I've through college I worked as a personal trainer, so I trained hundreds of different people. I worked another job where I was a health coach, so I advised them on health and exercise and healthy lifestyle. And I guess one thing that I really learned is everyone is an individual. Everyone is different. And something that's going to work for me might have no bearing whatsoever with the next person. And so, in my coaching and my training that I've done over the years, that's one thing I've really tried to remember, because I think a lot of coaches, you can get caught up with, oh, this is what I've done and this is what works for me, so it's going to work for them. And then they teach them what they know, because ultimately what we know is what we know. And everyone's so individual. It's kind of a long explanation, getting nowhere for you.
That's good.
But the other thing, I don't know. I think in general, as far as like cycling and other things go, one, you got to have fun. You got to enjoy what you're doing. I'd say two, I would say have a goal. You got to have goals, whether it's an event, a race, getting to a certain category, doing a certain ride, climbing a certain mountain, whatever it is, set goals for yourself. So you have something to work towards. And then have a plan to reach that goal. I think it's easy to just say, I want to do this, and I'm just going to go about doing what I've been doing and hope to get there. But I think we all know, if the old saying, if you plan to fail, or if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So have some kind of plan to reach that goal. And the other thing is, don't try and have max fitness all year either. A lot of people get burnt out because, they try and go hard and train hard year round, do intervals year round, especially with Zwift, that's making it even easier to do now because, we can race and do group rides all winter, which is good. If mentally you can handle that, but, plan around that goal. And, when that goal is coming up, really, really push yourself to go farther and push beyond, what you've done before, as far as training and everything goes, to really peak for that goal.
Nice. Dude, great advice.
So,
what about, just for my own personal, like nutritional mistakes? What are you seeing? Are you just like analyzing everybody's pockets when you're riding with them? I mean, what mistakes are being made out there that you could help with?
Well, I think the biggest one is not eating enough. First off, not eating enough calories. Also a lot of people are so worried about weight or gaining weight or wanting to lose weight, cyclists.
Yeah.
So they don't want to eat. And you just can't do it. You can't train hard and not take in fuel. If you really want to feel bad, feel burnt out, get sick, don't eat and try and train hard. You'll experience that real quick. So just not eating enough. Let's see, what was the other? That's something else in mind. What was I going to say? A lot of people, Chip kind of mentioned, or one of you mentioned this, as far as races or long events like Lotoja or Leadville or whatever it is really hard to eat solid foods while you're going, especially on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
I've done point to point and some other long races, and it's hard to find a stretch of road or trail where you can reach back and get in your pocket, right, open up the package and get it in your mouth, and then trying to chew and breathe at the same time. I mean, it's just it can be difficult, and people know that. And I think that is a huge cause of why people don't eat enough, is just because it's not convenient and it's hard. So that's another reason why getting your calories in your bottle is really good, because it's not difficult to reach down and drink. That reminds me of a race. I think it was last year or the year before, I can't remember, out at Miller Motorsports. But it was a really, really windy day. We were out, on the racetrack, racing the circuit race, and there was probably 50-mile-an-hour gusts or something. Like, dang. It was a wind you had to put your shoulder into, or else it would blow you over. And I remember I was in a breakaway of 3, and I was just so glad I had my calories in my bottle, because I had 2 bottles, each with 90 grams of carbs in it. It was a 2-hour race, and I got my 90 grams per hour and the fluid and electrolytes I needed. And I know that the people I was with that didn't have calories in their bottle, there was no way they were taking their hands off the bar and reaching back in their pocket in
Opening
that wind.
packages. Yeah.
I mean, it was, that would be a death wish. So
Very cool.
I'll say one other thing about nutrition, just in general, people that, and this is something I've learned over time, but this might surprise you, but I hate snacking. I think snacking is of the devil, basically. If you think about all the foods that we see the most marketed and, shoved in our faces, it's usually some type of snack food. And those are all the foods, these companies are making millions of dollars off of them. They're super cheap to make. They're basically like puffed rice or, half air and loads of flavor. They're just meant to stimulate your taste buds and your brain, give you that, quick hit of, dopamine and serotonin, all these feel good things because they taste good. But they're really not giving us any nutrition. So my advice, if you're just trying to keep healthy, maintain a good weight, eat your 3 solid meals. Think about having complete full meals instead of, going and snacking, grabbing a little snack here and there and thinking that that's okay. That used to be the thing, people
Right.
used to say, oh yeah, if you snack a little bit throughout the day, it keeps your blood sugar level and your insulin lower and all this stuff. And that's all garbage.
Nice.
Eat solid meals, eat full meals. With your protein, your carb, your fat, vegetables, your fruits, whatever it is. But think about having 3 solid meals per day. And you want to get full at those meals so that you don't have to snack.
Yeah.
You should be having 4 hours between meals that you don't eat. And then if you exercise, that's where a 4th meal can come in. So if you're exercising at night, you could have a high carbohydrate meal with a little bit of protein after that to refuel. If you're exercising in the morning, then, your breakfast should be that meal anyway. But I would say in general, that's a piece of advice I have. Try and get rid of the snacks and focus on having 3 good solid meals every day.
Nice. I think we just found the title of the podcast. I hate snacks. Nice. All right, Eric. Dude, very good. You were very smart. It's really fun to talk to you. I don't know anyone that's ever shared any sort of science behind any of this stuff. So it's cool to learn from you and hear. I just pick by what, is, I don't want to say trendy, but it's like, dude, this works for everyone else. So I'm going to buy that, that's the stuff I'm going to get. So it's been cool to, I was hesitant at first, but man, even like I've never tried a drink without flavor and it is good. I love it. Like it's fantastic. I just buy it off Corby's website. Is that the best place to go?
Yeah, right now it is.
Okay.
You can order it off Corby's website. If you're in the area in Utah Valley, you can contact me or Corby and pick it up direct and save on shipping. But
cool.
I'm working on other sales avenues right now, so hopefully that'll be coming out soon.
Nice, man.
Make it a little easier.
Cool. Chip, anything else?
No, thanks for making a great product, Eric. I'm using it and loving it, and I love the science behind it. Works for me, and I'm pretty complex.
Yeah. Nice.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Eric. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right. No
Okay,
problem.
guys.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Bye.